Alright, I'm going to try to keep churning out movie reviews as fast as possible because I am already behind when it comes to 2018. At least behind in the sense where I've seen more movies than I have reviewed them yet. So let's try a movie that you may not have heard about, a movie called Blame. Blame is a high school drama movie, and it's not a comedy like most high school movies tend to be. Like most high school movies, it involves bullying and complicated relationships and friendships being severed, and unlike other high school drama movies, it also deals with relationships between teachers and students. Or at least in the sense where a high school student is completely obsessed and in love with their substitute teacher. So I'm trying to find a way to describe the plot of Blame to you because most likely you've never heard about this movie. It's one of those under-the-radar movies that probably has limited releases or maybe even came out straight to DVD. Well, there's actually four main characters in this movie that I feel, because there's four characters that ultimately have an arc in this movie. So I guess the best way to describe the plot is to give a little bit of detail on the plot of these four characters. Let's start off with what's probably our main character of the film, which is Abigail, played by Quinn Shepard. After some incident that we don't really fully understand throughout the movie, she has been not held back, but kept from going to public school. Well, now she comes back after being in or maybe this was rumors, or maybe this was true, because it's not really all that detrimental to the film, but she might have been in a psychiatric facility. And now she's back to public school, and she's getting bullied, while at the same time she falls in love and becomes a little bit obsessed with her substitute teacher, who is a drama teacher, I believe, because they're learning about the Crucible, and they're going to play scenes from the Crucible. The Crucible. Another main character of the film is our substitute teacher, who doesn't know what to do with his life and is given opportunities for better jobs, but he wants to teach, and he eventually has some feelings towards this girl as well. Our main antagonist of this film is Melissa, who is a punk-like girl who's in her own clique of bullies and bullying our main character, and eventually becoming jealous of the possible, or what seems to be possible, relationship that's happening with the teacher and our main character.
Found that paper.
Thank you, Melissa.
No problem.
Abigail, just one quick question. Thank you. I was wondering if maybe you'd be interested in helping me out with the showcase.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Jealous of this, wanting to take revenge, and wanting to bully her more, leads to some really crazy chain reactions. And the lesser of our main characters that ultimately does have a character arc in this film is another girl who was friends with one girl, but now her friend is friends with the antagonist, and she's sort of losing her friendship with her old friend because this antagonist is changing her friend into something that she doesn't quite expect. Meanwhile, this other main character learns some of the things that happen on the stage when the teacher and our main character Abigail are rehearsing the play. She witnesses a few things that ultimately our jealous antagonist wants to learn, and so there's a bit of a crazy chain reaction in that as well. Honestly, I guess that's the best way to describe the plot without giving too much away. Now, I went into this film with low expectations because I didn't know quite what this movie was going to be about. I did see a trailer for it, but the trailer played it off as a high school comedy with some possibly serious implications and some dark humor that might be involved. But it's very different from that. This is more of a drama. I would barely call this a comedy because there's some serious stuff in this movie. And by the end of the movie, I was really impressed and I did really enjoy it. We'll talk about the good first, because that's how I start off my movie reviews. And I think all the performances and all the characters were completely fine, and I did enjoy them. There wasn't any performances in this film that stood out and felt absolutely great, but at the same time they were very solid and very acceptable, and I did enjoy them a lot. And I did like the characters as well, even though there is cliches, even though there is some tropes that you'd expect in a high school drama film. There was a little bit of complexity there, just enough for me to care and actually relate to some of these characters. In fact, the character I probably relate to the most or care about the most is the lesser of the four main characters, the girl that is losing her friend to an evil bitch.
No. Yeah, seriously, you stood her up.
Apparently Jeremy had to read the scene with her.
Ew. Oh my god, that's so weird.
Jeremy actually acted with her?
Yeah, that's what I said.
So why are you guys mad at Abigail again?
Because she's a slut.
Oh. Thought she was a psycho.
Why are you taking her side?
I'm not, I just...
Yeah, Ellie, like, what's going on? Why are you being such a bitch?
Okay. I gotta go.
In fact, that storyline kind of reminded me of Wonder. And yes, I saw that movie, I highly enjoyed it, never got to review it because I fell so far behind during that time in last year. But there is one storyline in Wonder where the sister of the kid with the deformity, the sister had a best friend. They didn't see each other during summer camp because her friend went off to summer camp or something, met new friends, and then when they see each other again in college, it's like her friend is a completely different person. This kind of reminded me of that storyline because in Blame, there is a girl that is going to high school, sees her friend had been in summer camp, met the antagonist, the bitchy character, Melissa, and now that they see each other again, her friend is acting completely different and within the clique of this bitch. And so there's something about that storyline that I did highly enjoy, despite the fact that it is the minor storyline, the subplot of this movie. And while there is typical stuff, there is cliches, there is things that have been done in other high school drama movies and high school comedies, it deals with it in a way that is a little bit more relatable, not highly relatable, not something that is like really grand and epic or anything that is like, wow, this is completely realistic, but just enough in a way where it's like, I care about these characters, I see where the story's going, and I do kind of like it. This movie also draws parallels to The Crucible because ultimately the characters are learning this play, they're practicing for this play, they have projects and groups. And this is where the film could have been really bad, really forced, and feel like, okay, we've seen this kind of thing before, where there's parallels to the high school play that they're going to portray, but it comes off as not as dumb or as forced as you might think from a film like this. I also thought the bitchy character, the antagonist, Melissa, I thought the actress did a fine job at playing this really one-dimensional, terrible person. Like, throughout the movie, I just wanted to slap that girl because I could not stand her. But in the end, they give a little bit of complexity to her, or they try to throughout the film, and at the middle of the film, I was like, okay, I know they're trying to do something sympathetic for this character, but I don't give a crap because she's so nasty and so terrible, I don't care. But then by the end, they do something a little bit more complexity with her, show a little bit of some of the things that she might have gone through, and I'm like, oh, now I understand why she's a bitch. Still don't like her, but I understand her now. And I will say that the climax of the film is probably by far the best part of the film for me. The middle of the film kind of dragged, but then once it got towards the ending and I started thinking, oh, this is what's going to happen? Holy crap, this is crazy. And it eventually then does something even different that I was like, oh shoot, I love this ending. This movie is also written and directed by our main character, our main actress, Quinn Shepard, who's only 22, and for a 22-year-old to do this kind of film, this was a pretty solid film, I feel. As far as the bad, I think some of the camera work was just fine and okay, and there was a few times where it tried to get a little artsy that didn't quite work for me as well, given what kind of movie this was. I also do feel that the middle slowed down a little too much and got a little messy, because there are times when these 4 storylines, you don't realize how exactly they're going to connect, but eventually they do connect, and there are a few scenes that felt repetitive and scenes that felt like, okay, I get what they're going for this, I get how they're developing the character, but they could have done this in a faster or even better way. But overall, I did really enjoy Blame, and so I'm going to give Blame 4 stars. And it rounds up to 4, just to clarify that. So, did you see Blame? What'd you think about it? Go ahead and comment below. And if you like this movie review and you want to see more, please subscribe and check out my movie reviews and movie countdowns. As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was just my opinion.